the street, she's there.
Yeah, hello.
Oh, yeah,
And without, I don't want to embarrass you, my love, but that is a question that I think we should all be asking. There are veterans, thousands of veterans on our streets. There are thousands of homeless people like this lady, and these men are breaking into this country every day illegally and being given 3 meals a day, clothes, all their amenities. I'm so taken aback. So you've thrown me off a little bit, but never mind. Thank you. And I hope that people, I hope that some of the journalists speak to you, my love. Anyway, so back to today. So this is the second pink protest. I did expect some more people, I'll be honest, but I don't blame you because the weather is horrific. But we are here because each and every one of us are concerned about the influx of foreign men from cultures that do not respect our own, that break into this country every day illegally, and they are put into 3-4-star hotels. They're put into camps on the outside of towns, and the lady's going to talk to you about that. And there is no consequence. They do what they want, they come and go, they come into towns. And, hold on, I'm just going to get off here because that lady's throwing me off. And every day we hear about more sexual assaults, more rapes, and tragically in the last few months we've heard about murders. And over here you see a table, and this table has got the pictures of girls that have been murdered, not just raped, not just assaulted, but murdered on the streets of this country. And those murders would not have happened if the government had not let in the perpetrators. And that is a fact. That's not racist, it's not bigoted, it is a fact. And every time I look at those pictures, I actually I well up. And in a minute, after a few speeches, I will go through those pictures and tell you about those girls. And even though it's horrific to listen to, it has to be said. And what we're finding is that these rapes and these murders and these sexual assaults are going undocumented. They are not getting the media attention they deserve. Why? Sarah Everard, God rest her soul, was murdered in 2000, and for weeks she was on the news. Weeks.
Yes.
And there were vigils, and they talked about it because she was murdered by a man who was British.
Yeah.
These women were murdered by the men that the government have let in, and no one talks about it. Why don't they talk about it? Because they've got blood on their hands, that is why.
That's implicit. Get
And
them
it
out.
breaks my heart, and I will go through that with you in a minute.
Today, Chelmsford became the latest focal point for the Pink Ladies, a women-led protest movement known for its outspoken stance on immigration and community safety. Gathering at Tyndall Square, the group arrived in their trademark pink attire, waving flags and holding placards as they called attention to what they describe as growing concerns around the arrival of unknown male migrants in local communities. Organizers framed the event as a peaceful but determined demonstration designed to protect women and children and stand up for the country's future.
Today we're going to have some great guest speakers, and the whole point of the pink protest is that we give an environment where women, mothers and grandmothers and aunts and cousins can come together and feel safe and feel that they're in a secure environment where they can have their voices heard.
Yes.
And that's what the pink protest is about. And we're going to do this up and down the country because we have women contacting us from everywhere, from Inverness to Exeter, saying the same thing. Orla, why are these men being dumped in our community? We don't want them. There's been no risk assessment. No one's asked us. A lady called me the other day from Inverness, in the Highlands of Scotland. 400 men from foreign cultures dumped in their town. She said some of the people have never left Inverness. They don't know what's going on. Who are these men? All the way down to Exeter. We've got a lady here from Crowborough, Kim. She's going to talk to you about what's happening in Crowborough. And then we've got Emma, who's going to talk to you about what's happening in Chelmsford. Because I'm not from Chelmsford, I'm from Epping. This lady over here is not from Chelmsford, she's from Chesham. That lady over there is from Canary Wharf. But the thing is we have all got the same problem. We all feel the same way, and we are all terrified about what is happening on our streets. And just to finish, before we let the speaker speak, people say to me, why do you never talk about the white sexual predators? Why do you never talk to me about British men who rape women? And I say, because we have enough scumbags in our country as it is. With our own scumbags, our own predators, and our own sex pests. We do not need to bring in more every day. Men from cultures that do not think like we do, who treat women like third-class citizens, and who think it's acceptable to marry 8 and 9-year-old girls. That is not what we are about, and we will not accept it. So however much they talk about multiculturalism, we are not going to accept it.
The protest featured a series of speeches, chants, and musical segments, creating an atmosphere that mixed activism with performance. Supporters said they were motivated by a sense of vulnerability, expressing fears that the UK's borders are not secure and that local authorities are not doing enough to safeguard residents. Some participants voiced personal worries about crime, citing recent cases of violence against women as a driving force behind their involvement in the movement.
So I'm going to leave you now. I'm going to hand over to our first speaker, a lady called Kim, who is leading the charge in Crowborough. Now, you may have seen this, it's been on the news recently, and they have got the same kind of nightmare happening to them as they have in Chelmsford and Colchester and Braintree. So I'm going to hand over to Kim. Round of applause, please.
I don't think I'm going to match up to Orla's speaking. I'm definitely not used to doing this.
There's me getting soaking wet.
I am just a resident
Yeah.
from Crowborough.
Everyone was around you.
Bailey. I'll try and talk
You're standing
louder.
over there.
No good, is it?
My husband usually says to be quiet. Right, so I'm Kim Bailey, I'm from Crowborough.
He's lucky I need to be silent at the minute.
The Pink Ladies group
Could
down in
just 2
Crowborough
minute
because of
talking,
what the
yeah?
government's doing, which I'll tell you about in a second.
I'll be on him
We
in a
also
minute.
started a residents group called Crowborough Shield, and what
Gone
they're
from
actually
a
doing is
Big Mac
taking the
meal to Happy
government
Meal.
to court to seek a judicial review. Now, that's no easy task, taking on the establishment. So, what's happened down in Crowborough is we are a sleepy little rural town in the middle of the forest. There is nothing there. There is, a couple of churches, a couple of schools, nothing for anyone to do. The recreational facilities are minimal. So we had it break in the press on the 28th of October that 600 undocumented men will be placed in the used army barracks. Now they say they are disused and that they are abandoned. These army barracks are not. They are used by thousands of cadets, which are now going to be displaced as a result. So that broke on the 28th of October. We had absolutely no consultation whatsoever. And then we found out it's not actually just 600 men, it's actually about 2,500 undocumented men that will be placed there. That's a lot of men. They're going to be rotated through, and the Home Office has said, oh, it's only for 12 months. Now we know it's not only for 12 months. They have spent millions doing this up. Their two ambitions was to reduce community impact and reduce cost of hotels. Now, it's actually more expensive than the hotels, and the impact on the communities are huge. So it doesn't reach either of those ambitions, which is just absolutely ridiculous. So what we've done is we've tried to challenge the Home Office. I was actually up there with the Minister on Wednesday, Alex Norris. I don't recommend meeting him, seriously. So I went up and to challenge him. Why are you doing this? What impact assessments have you done? Where are your risk assessments? They have bypassed every policy, every process, every piece of legislation, and are implementing this under what they call emergency powers, which means they don't need planning permission to do anything. They don't need permission to do anything at all. They can just literally do what they want.
However, the event also drew criticism from community groups and political observers, who argue that the Pink Ladies' messaging mirrors far-right narratives and risks fueling division. Opponents have accused the movement of using women's safety as a vehicle for anti-migrant sentiment, pointing out that similar protests by the group have previously targeted hotels housing asylum seekers. Local leaders have urged residents to remain cautious about rhetoric that may stigmatize entire groups of people based on fear or assumption. As the protest continued throughout the afternoon, police maintained a visible presence, ensuring the demonstration remained orderly. Though attendance numbers varied throughout the day, the event clearly sparked significant interest, both supportive and critical, within Chelmsford and beyond. Whether the Pink Ladies' message gains further traction remains to be seen, but today's protest underscores a broader national debate on migration, public safety, and the tensions that continue to shape communities across the UK.
Big up, Wendell. Go on, Emma. No, that's all right. Don't worry. Don't worry. Listen. Do you know what, Emma? Seriously, yeah. Do you know, like, when that coach come here that night, and people from Chelmsford was coming and bringing me drinks, yeah, so we can keep on. If it wasn't for them type of people, could never carry on doing what I do anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's a joint thing, you know.
The reason that we're here today.
All of us.
So I'd like Katrina, please, and Claire.
So for those of you who are watching, my name
We have the ladies that I've asked to come up. Sarah.
and we are coming to you live and direct from Tyndall Square in Chelmsford. So we're live and direct on Tommy Robinson's YouTube and Tommy Robinson's Twitter.